just the raw truth. I've been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Usually with a disease like multiple sclerosis, what they tell you is that there's no treatment for it yet. You can have treatments only to alleviate some of the symptoms, but you will never be cured from that disease. Hello, my beautiful friends. Today I welcome you in my art studio because I want to talk to you. I know a lot of you guys come from the Exploring Alternative YouTube channel, and you just recently found our channel, and in the video that they made about our lifestyle and our house and everything, I've mentioned really quickly that I've been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and I realized that it's been a very long time that I haven't done an update on that, and I just wanted to clarify some things with you. I'm sure some of you feel really curious, and I was quite overwhelmed by the amount of advice and support and love that I received through this video and our channel as well. And I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. Makes me nervous talking about this because it's a big subject, and also I just ran upstairs because I felt so inspired. I want to tell you a lot of things in regards to health in general, and yeah, firstly, let me tell you that my health is going very, very well. I never felt better in my entire life. I feel strong, I feel happy, motivated, I feel powerful, and everything really goes smoothly for me these days. And I want to thank you if you had any concern and if you shared a comment about that in our previous videos. But yeah, everything is fine for me. But what I wanted to clarify is that, you know, with the big with these big diseases that are thought to be incurable, like MS, or I know a lot of people who suffer from cancers, and you know, those big words that they can feel sometimes powerless, and they can feel as though they will deal with diseases for the rest of their lives. And I know that feeling, and it's really hurtful, and it's also very rooted in fear. And what I want to tell you today is a bit of my vision about health in general, and you can link that to a lot of other areas of our life, because the reality is that for me, health isn't as specific or as local as modern medicine wants us to believe. Basically, they usually let me rewind that a bit. Usually with a disease like multiple sclerosis, what they tell you is that there's no treatment for it yet. You can have treatments only to alleviate some of the symptoms, but you will never be cured from that disease. First, when they tell you in the hospital that you will have to deal with a disease like that for the rest of your life, the first reaction, I think, for most people is fear. You know, I started to fear my future, started to realize that I may not be able to walk all my life, and I may have a very serious disabilities later. And also I was dealing with debilitating symptoms like fatigue and inability to move my legs, inability to speak. That happened to me as well. I lost vision in one eye, and I had a multitude of different symptoms. But you know, before I was diagnosed, I was still very interested in health in general, because I noticed throughout my life that I had these health problems that were rising up periodically. And I just wanted to know more about the biology of how human body works. And this really like sucked me into a decade of research. And what I found along the way is not what I expected to find. You know, I started to be interested in food and what I should eat for optimal health and how I should treat my body. And slowly but surely, I started to see health not as as the sum of our different parts, if that makes sense. For example, if I had like a pain in my wrist, I wouldn't necessarily assume that that was a wrist problem. So yeah, with MS, when they told me this was a nervous system problem and that I needed to take some pills to like basically just shut down my immune system so it wouldn't attack my own nervous system, I just backed off a little bit and I said, you know what, I think I will keep going without any treatment for now. And I decided to put that decade of research into practice. And I found that health is not something that you can pinpoint one thing and be really good at it. You know, if you eat really well, it's good for you, but you also need to have those pillars in check. And those pillars of health to me are food, movement, sleep, rest, but also, you know, your inner world. And it's very linked to our mental health. But what I mean by that is, how do you think about yourself on a daily basis? And how you treat yourself mentally? You know, all these aspects that are maybe a little more subtle, they're also very important. And lastly, let me check out my notes. And lastly, our environment is also something to take into consideration. So I really started to work on all those pillars at once. And I didn't expect of myself to be perfect with them. But what I did is I really cleaned up my food. That was the first one. And I shifted my perspective around food because, you know, we're taught all of our lives to, you know, treat yourself once in a while. And I know I really love greasy, fatty foods. I'm more of a savory dish type of person than a dessert type of person, but that could apply to if you have a sweet tooth as well. And we're taught it's okay to treat yourself once in a while. But then I started to notice that I didn't feel like I was treating myself when I would like eat a huge amount of chips, for example. I actually felt crappy afterwards. And I didn't want to feel crappy anymore. So I started to ask myself some questions like, what is, to me, the very best food I could put into my body? What would someone who really loves themselves would eat on a daily basis? And my answer was a lot of veggies. You know, I think we can all agree that vegetables are the healthiest food on the planet. So I slowly increased the amount of unprocessed vegetables that I was eating on a daily basis. And I started to very naturally eliminate all meat, dairy, processed foods, and most recently even gluten and all the, you know, refined food basically. And I tried to eat a more wholesome diet, which happened for me to be a plant-based diet. And I think there's a lot of evidence right now that suggests that it might be one of the healthiest diets on the planet. And yeah, so that was one of the pillars, and it just opened so many doors for me because cleaning up my food just gave me so much more energy, and I started to have less and less MS symptoms. And then I included some movement because we have a lot of projects, me and Remi, but I was always moving my body in terms of work. I didn't move for the sake of my own health. So I started to have a yoga practice. And I know yoga is so like, I don't think a lot of people have the right vision of what yoga is. It's just basically, to me, is a moment in day where I focus solely on moving my body in a way that feels good and improves my mobility. So it doesn't matter if you're like overweight, flexible, if you can't move, you can always do the yoga that you can do, you know. So I started with that, and slowly again over time, over the course of many months, my yoga practice became more and more deep, and now I can do movements that I couldn't before. And I also developed a very strong core, and I feel really good. Basically, I don't have any pain right now. I don't recall a moment in my life before I was doing yoga where I didn't have any pain. I used to grow up with a lot of pain. I think I was doing, you know, I was full of inflammation. Even as a kid, I remember having these sharp pains in my joints and in my hips. I remember also always having a tummy ache of some sort. Also, I was eating dairy at that time, which I found out later I was really allergic to. So yeah, this was the second pillar that I really got in check, if I can say so. And then sleep. That was a big one for me, and I think that's the main reason why I got MS, is because I'm someone, I don't have any motivation problems in life, you know. I was more of the opposite. I didn't have any boundaries. I couldn't recognize the needs of my body, and I still struggle with some of it sometimes, but I'm getting better now. But basically, I think a lot of us grew up in this world that really encourages us to always work harder, faster, be more efficient, and produce more and more and more and more. And I totally fell for that trap. I didn't recognize when I was tired and when I needed rest. And it's only in the last year or so that I could realize that I'm not someone with low energy. I always thought that. I was someone who was severely sleep deprived. I had trouble sleeping for most of my adult life. I would wake up around 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, unable to fall back asleep. It would take me an hour or so to fall asleep at night, and sometimes I would just not sleep. I was having insomnia on a regular basis. But then I started really paying attention to that and starting to ask questions again. You need to ask yourself some questions. What can I do to really have the best sleep that I could? And the answer for me was, I need to wind down at night. I need to not work. You know, we have dinner and then I don't work anymore. I really try hard to do that. And it was hard because I was addicted to work. I had to figure a lot of things out that wasn't working for my sleep and for my optimal health. And along the way, I formed new habits and I let go of some other habits. And yeah, an important one is that I would allow myself to rest. I tried to nap, but it didn't work out for me. But it was still good, you know. I was at least resting a little bit in the middle of the day, 15 minutes or so. So I would do these power naps. And then at night, I will try to calm myself. And then when I go to bed, I focus on my breathing. I really cultivate this inner calm within me. And also I made a schedule for myself. So I go to bed very early, since I always wake up quite early as well. And I make sure that I have this room in my life to have a good sleep. I don't do anything that is stimulating before I go to bed. I have a nighttime routine. It's short now, you know. It used to be longer because I had trouble. But now I fall asleep pretty quick, and I also use medicinal plants that help me with that. You know, some lemon balm tea or things like that. I have a lavender scented candle, and all the little actions that I could do to maximize my rest at night, I would do. And this is probably one of the biggest changes in my energy, because now I sleep throughout the night. I feel really good and happy. I don't have any brain fog in the morning. Because if you haven't slept good for a while, I know you know that feeling of being so sleep deprived that you can't think properly, and then you're full of inflammation, and then there's disease that pop up from that, So this was also an important one. And then, the inner world thing. We don't live in an age that really support mental health. And I think one of the reasons for that is our technology that isn't adapted to our well-being. Everything moves fast, everything is stimulating, and everything is so distracting. And if you can just pause for a moment and really tune inwards, which nobody does these days. Like you hear of Steve Jobs that used to meditate, or Bill Gates. We have these big figures, but meditation is for everybody, I think. And even if you say like, I can't meditate, maybe, but the reason why you can't meditate is because you trained yourself so hard every day using those devices to be distracted. Because you open Instagram and then, oh, I have a message, you go check the message, and then, oh, I have 3 messages, you choose one, and then it's your neighbor that wants this and it's urgent, so then you answer to that message, and then you start chatting, and then there's something that pops up that I have an appointment there, then you need to go. Do you see that pattern? It's not healthy, and I don't believe that we can sustain that pace of a mental chatter every day of our lives. It's not something that supports health in the long run. So another thing that I had this huge cleanup recently is about my use of the internet and social media. And this was really hard, and for Remi as well, because we realized that we are all adults, I believe, right now is deeply addicted to those technology, especially to social media. I'm pretty sure that if you're watching this video right now, you probably watch some other videos too, you're on YouTube, you're consuming content. And I know it's weird for a content creator to tell you these things, but I really encourage you to be more mindful about your use of technology. Maybe just schedule time where you can watch your videos or listen to your podcasts or all these things, but try to do one thing at a time. It's really important. And also schedule some time where you don't have the digital presence. You turn off your phone, maybe use like focus mode or something. But to me, this is the biggest gift that I made for myself and for my nervous system, which was deeply sick from all the overstimulation. And now when I wake up in the morning, I spend at least 3 hours before I reach for my phone. And at night, I do the same. I used to check my phone until I fell asleep, basically. But now I read a book, or I focus on my breathing, or I just really wind down. And you cannot wind down when you have a screen flashing lights in your eyes and your brain just goes crazy from all the stimulation. So meditation, or just creating art, for me that was the entry point of all that reflection about stimulation. Every task that you do that requires a deep focus, it nourishes your inner world, and also your thoughts, the way that you speak to yourself, the thoughts that you think. This all reflects in your outer world. I know it sounds really wishy-washy, cheesy, or whatever you want to call that, but it's true. It's a fundamental truth. It's just the raw truth. That's what it is. And I'm sure you experience some of this in your life already. The way that you talk to yourself is often the way you will talk to others. the way that you treat yourself inwards, you will also treat yourself to, if you don't respect yourself, you won't eat the good food for you. If you don't love yourself deeply, you will not make the effort of rising in the morning and trying not to look at your phone. This is really important, and I don't have the words to describe how these things has shifted my whole life, but this is really important. And if you can just retain this one thing from this whole chat, I hope it will be to put the actions like someone who deeply and unconditionally loves themselves. Then if you orient your actions with that principle, I think your life can shift in a way that is miraculous, like really. And lastly, the last pillar is the environment, but it's really linked to all the other stuff that I was talking about. Making changes to my environment also made changes inside of myself. One of the things is I used to be a very messy person. I used to have like clutter everywhere, a very chaotic working environment. I'm this crazy creative person, and yeah, everything was reflecting that. And I always thought that a busy mind had busy clutter all around. But yeah, making the switch to minimalism at first, and then more of just, cleaning up the things. It helped me to clean up everything else and making my house beautiful, and what to me is beautiful. Just removing all the distractions as well. If you go around my house, you won't see a lot of plasticky, shiny, bright colored things, and it's all because I want my house to be a safe space, a space where I can rest, where I can feel my best, and I don't want to be distracted by the clutter or everything for that matter. I want to prioritize my well-being, because the biggest wake-up call for me is that I have a 10-year-old daughter. You may have seen her in our previous some of our previous videos. She's not here a lot because I don't want to impose a online presence to her at that age, but she's in my mind a lot. And what I want for her is to be able, when she will grow up to be an adult, to really take good care of herself. That's my main goal as a parent. I want to teach my daughter that she deserves to be loved, not by others, by herself, because others, it's not important in the end. And anyway, when you love yourself, you love others. Everything is like interconnected like that. It's almost like magic. But I want her to have this role model. I want to teach her that she has power over her own health. She doesn't have to go through these diseases and all that suffering because she has to unlearn what she was taught and then relearn how to really take proper care of herself. I want her to know that from the start. So that's really important for me. And yeah, I realized that was a lot of chat. I didn't think that would take so long. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things I could have said more than that. I barely scratched the surface here. But I think I'm gonna write something like an ebook, or so you'll have some of that as a resource. But I hope that at least sparked a bit of a reflection for your own life. And I really wanted to be just a starting point of an engagement that some of you will take with themselves. I know if you're struggling with an incurable disease like MS, it's possible to feel really fearful and powerless. And what I want to inspire is that you have more control than you think. And I'm why I say I'm healing from MS is that I truly believe that I won't have this disease my whole life. And, you know, maybe my doctors won't be in agreement with that statement, but I'm truly healing from that. And I would be curious to see in the future, but I'm convinced also that 10 years from now, I won't have symptoms anymore. I don't now. And my life really improved in almost a magical way since I really engaged myself into that process and I dived in really deeply. So yeah, I think I've talked enough for today. I wish you a lovely day or night, and I wish you to really take good care of yourself. See you soon.
Hello.
Hello. You can start.
I just wanted to say hi. I didn't see you this week, so hi. I was busy somewhere, and you will see all that next week.
Yes.
And we are here because we want to tell you something. Noemie will tell you.
Oh no, Remi is on his way to tell you.
Oh no, you're good. Let's go.
Okay. For the longest time now, since I don't know. We've been making videos for 3 years now, and for the longest time people have asked us either by email or in the comments how it is possible to support us. And this was a big question for us. We thought about it for a very long time because we don't want to create content for VIP people, if that makes sense. We want to keep this content free. This is our heart's work, and it's very important to us to be able to share those videos for the biggest amount of people possible, because I think we have things of value that we want to share with the world. But all that reflection came to a conclusion recently. We decided to launch a web shop. So now if you're interested in supporting us in a way or another, there will be a lot of possibilities there. It's on my website, and we have now clothing.
Yeah.
The Wildcrafter official brand is now launched on my website. And we also have online courses. So Remi's first online training for building a cabin will be there, and as well as many other things to come in the future. There'll be...
And your art, maybe?
Yeah, my art. Yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot. Yeah. I have also art prints from my sketchbooks as well as from my paintings. And if you go there regularly, there will be a lot of new product that will be launched very soon. So yeah.
It's like a work in progress, so you can go as much as you want, because each month maybe they will have some new things. So it's not like a one-time thing, it's a lifelong journey.
Yeah, and I think I will try to post in the community post here on YouTube when we had new products or there's something new on the website, so you will be able to know.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel really shy about this. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know why too, but anyways.
Yeah, I think it's because I don't want us to come across like we are asking for money, you know. And that's not the case. If you're not interested, that's fine. You will keep having your content here on YouTube for free. It's just for the people that wants to support this channel and didn't know how before. Now you have a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Hope you have lots of joy in your life.
Yeah, see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm driving in my car, the road is long and full of dust. The landscape changes around me, on and on, I feel I must Whatever happened to me happened for my highest good. I read that in so many books, now it's almost understood. I'm moving on.